All right, hello PUSD. We are going to go over Nearpod and our digital citizenship curriculum, and this is for the pilot. So if you have an account with us, if you signed up to pilot this program, then you will follow along. If you're not part of the pilot, you can still follow along, but you won't have access to the curriculum yet. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Okay. And Durfee's going to make sure that that's showing up right, that you can see my screen right. Okay, so we have notes for today's training. I know my screen might be a little small. I gave you guys, I have paper notes here, but if you guys want to go to the tiny URL, you can either view them online. If you could pass those out for me. So at the bottom of the notes is the tiny URL so that you can preview and click the links with us and follow along. The first thing that we're going to do is go to Nearpod itself and talk about how you log in. There's been some confusion with that. Nearpod told me that they were sending out an email for you guys. Some people got it, some people didn't, some people could log in, some people couldn't. So I'm going to talk about the different ways you can log in. So we've also pushed out the bookmark. So in the PUSD bookmarks, Nearpod is the last choice. Your students will also have that bookmark to access Nearpod, but we have taken Haiku and Nearpod and meshed it together so that you also have access to the posters, the videos, and the games that go along with the lessons. So it's actually a lot richer in what you're able to do, but we're going to start in Nearpod and then we'll end in Haiku if that's okay. So once we get to Nearpod,
so bookmarks Nearpod.
Perfect.
And how do the students log in?
So the students, when they get to Nearpod, they will just join a session. They can actually join a session within Haiku, which I will show you, or they can just go to nearpod.com, and let me show you. Let me log out. So see this right here? They will just click on that and then enter the PIN that I'll show you how to get. Okay, so there's a couple ways that we can do this. If you're going to Nearpod for the first time, you might be able to just say log in with Google. I have multiple accounts open, but pick your PUSD account and it might automatically log you in because they've registered everybody for the pilot with an account. If that doesn't work, you can do a manual login with just sign in to Nearpod, enter in your PUSD email, and then your password will be Nearpod 2015 with a capital N. Okay? Does that make sense? Is everyone here able to get into Nearpod though? Yes?
Yes.
Yvonne, were you able to get in?
They sent me the email late this afternoon
Okay.
while I was teaching.
Okay.
So this is my first opportunity to try it.
So Durfee's going to help you and make sure you can get in.
Like that.
Yes. So once we all get in, I want us to be at this screen, and I'm going to kind of go over what we can see here, and then we'll explore, talk about library and all that kind of stuff.
So you're home?
Yes, so we're at home.
Okay.
My library is going to be anything that you download, right? Explore is going to be finding items you want to add to your library. You can actually join a session from here. So like today when I walk you guys through a lesson, you can actually click here and put in the PIN. You can create your own lessons. So I did this when I used Nearpod, was I imported a Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation, and then I made it interactive with the tools. So you can create your own. And then reports is where you're going to go to see how your students did overall. And you can send reports home, you can email them, you can download them, all sorts of things.
So it does keep track.
It does keep track. And I can see at the district level, I can look at you and say all of your students have completed. It will tell me overall like 90% of your students have completed the curriculum or 100% of your students have completed the curriculum.
Can we ask questions?
Anytime.
Okay, so my question is, like today, we didn't get through the full lesson just because we had a lot of interruptions.
Mhm.
So the students were like, oh, can we just close our Chromebooks and go so we go tomorrow? And so I've even kept it up on my screen. If I were to like close it, like close out that session and then we start it up again, will it,
Continue.
and it will keep track of their answers?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
So-
would just take them to that slide that we stopped on, but all the past answers and everything that they gave will still be there.
What I did was, when I reopened up a session that I was halfway through, it actually started right where I stopped.
Oh.
It did assign a new pin, but it started right where I left off.
Okay.
So tomorrow, when you log in, it should start you.
So I can close it out then.
Yep.
How does that work with multiple classes? Should you write down each, or should I not do it with each of my classes?
You can do it with each of your classes. That might be tricky. I don't know
Do
what
you
that's
think it
going to
gives a
look
unique
like.
pin each time?
It does give a unique pin.
I've done it with another lesson.
But
and
if you
it
don't
gave me each
complete
pin.
it-
Yeah, then I just started over.
See, but what it's going to do then is it's going to list still all of your students. And depending where you left off, you as a teacher would just have to keep track of where you left off for each period.
Okay.
So you could just say, you could look at your slides and say, okay, I was at this slide, and just write down the slide number. That's how I would troubleshoot that. And we can look into that more. And as you guys, these are things that we're going to be able to answer better. Once we do it.
Once we play with it.
Yeah.
Are we able to copy the already created lessons and tweak it for us?
No, not for the digital citizenship lessons. It won't let you duplicate them.
What about the other?
It just depends on the person who created it and what they allow. Some you can and some you can't. Okay, so we are actually going to go into Explore right now. So when you go into Explore, right now we have access to all content. So this means their full content library. A lot of these lessons you have to pay money for, but right now we don't have to. We have access to their whole library. So what we're going to focus on is the digital citizenship curriculum. However, if you find other lessons that you want to add to your library and teach, please go ahead and do so. There are also, they just added virtual field trips. So you can take your class on a virtual field trip based on content or something that you're studying. I know there's one for like Mars. They have a U.S. history field trip one where you can take them to all the sites. So check out the different field trips that they have. That could be fun for you. But what I want you to do is go ahead and click on that digital citizenship, the yellow curriculum. And it should take you to the bundles. You only need to download the bundle that's relevant to you. Now, if you are someone who teaches 6-12, like our teachers at Blair, we have people that might teach a 7th grade class and a 9th grade class, then you would download both of those. But if you are K2, just download the yellow, 3-5, download the orange, 6, 8, 9, 12. Okay? Now, once you download those, see up top here it says Explore, because that's where we are. Let me zoom in. I know that my screen is hard to see. So up here it says Explore. We're going to click on My Library. And once you click on these, it will tell you it's free. You click on that free button, and it will download the content. Once you've done that, you'll see I have all of them in my library for obvious reasons, because we're working on trying to perfect them, but they will show up in your library. Okay? Has everyone been able to download them and view them in their library? Okay. So there's a couple ways that you can do this, and teachers have been interested in both ways. So I'm going to talk about this while we're in Nearpod. When you do a live session, which we're going to do one together, where I'm going to be the teacher and you guys are going to be the students, when we do a live session, I click on live session, it gives me a pin, the students enter in the pin, and it's not case sensitive. They don't have to capitalize everything. They just type in the letters, and then they have joined the live session. It will ask them for their name. It's optional. So I suggest you do it. You know, it can't hurt. For kinder, they can just type in their first name so that you can keep track of their progress. But they don't need a student ID or anything else. The homework assignment, you can actually embed that on your Haiku page. So if you have an assignment that you want them to go through that's self-paced on their own, they can do that within Haiku. You can embed that on your Haiku page. And they don't need a pin or anything for that. It would just be embedded on your Haiku page. And I can show you what that looks like. But some teachers have asked, well, if I don't want to do a live session and I do want them to do it maybe self-paced on their own, I have them go through the first few slides. Can I do that? Yes, you can. And it will still record their scores and send you information. But what we're going to do right now is going to be a live session that I'm going to go through. So what I actually want you guys to do is navigate back to home. And then I'm going to have you click on Join. And you are going to enter in the session ID ZYVSG. And it's up on the front board if you can't see it. Sorry, it's my head in the way. I can actually move now. Well, they won't be able to hear me. All right, so once you've done that,
May I ask a question?
yes, absolutely.
So, for digital citizenship, is there, and this isn't a question because I don't want to do it, I'm trying to make sure, does it fit in with a specific subject's curriculum when it comes to middle school, high school? Like who's
responsible for it?
Yeah.
We haven't looked at that. I know as a district, by law, we have to do it at every grade level, but we haven't decided who is responsible for it per se. And I think that's just because we had a different program that we used last year, iSafe, and schools like at my school that I was at, they decided that the English teachers would do it, right? We always get the English class will take care of that. But I feel like if every subject area is using technology, every teacher could reinforce, maybe because there's 4 to 5 lessons per grade level, you could split that up. Maybe one subject would teach Unit 1, Lesson 1. So I think that that's a discussion that we need to have. But every team is different and every school is different. So that presents a unique situation. So no, the answer is no, we don't have that set, but we have ideas. Okay, so once you've put in that code, you can click on your arrow, and then it should ask you to enter in your name. And then other is optional. If you wanted your students to give you other information, they could, but they don't have to in order to participate.
Put period 1, period 4.
Yes.
Might be a better way to sort or.
Yes, that might be a great idea.
Thank you.
That's a great idea. So then right here, I'm actually going to do that just so we see how it shows up. And then I will press send. Okay? Now what you'll notice is, so you're looking at the screen that you see up here. Now as the teacher, I'm moving your screen. So if you look at your computer, based on whatever slide, I want you to see that's what you're seeing. Okay? Which, you know, can be fun for being a teacher, right? You get to control their screen. So what I want to show you is that we're going to walk through some of the curriculum. This is a hint. Wow, that was special. Kinder lesson curriculum that we're going to be looking at, so I know some of the activities are going to look a little young to you. Not for you guys, because you're kinder. And some of it is actually not age appropriate. So I'm going to talk about how, as a teacher, I have access to skip through slides. You don't have to teach every slide. And I don't suggest at the younger levels, and even at the secondary levels, to teach it all in one sitting, because I think it will be too much. And with the other resources, you can chunk it. So the first couple slides are kind of for teachers. Then we have our essential question: how do I go places safely on the computer?
So this is Kinder first.
This is Kinder.
Just Kinder first.
This is slated for Kinder. You could do it in first if you wanted to, but all the Unit 1 and K2 is for Kinder. Unit 2 is for first grade. Unit 3 is for second grade. Sorry. So now it's talking about let's imagine. And then now on my screen, as a teacher, I don't see anything, right? But you guys have a card in front of you. So it says, can you, oh no, now I can't. Did I go? Oh, it just loaded. Okay. Can you think of some examples of places you might visit on a field trip? So let's brainstorm together. So this is where you would talk to your class and they would give you answers. Now, as a teacher, I could write this and then share it with them if I wanted to, but since K is non-readers, I probably wouldn't notate anything. Actually, will you show, since they can see the kid screen, can you go over to the Apple TV so I can show you what I see? So on my iPad, or you could do it from Chromebook or anything. Or not. Yep. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. So as the teacher, there's a couple things I need to point out to you that I get to see, actually. So I can see over here, I have 8 people logged in, and I have 1 person who's deviated off of my lesson. So I can go here and Veronica. I don't know if he went to another tab or something. But
I thought it was me.
Yeah, it's
like,
Wait, how could you tell that it was someone deviated?
because it was red.
Oh.
So the number.
if they're not, if they're like looking at it.
If they're off task?
I was
Yeah.
I'm in that page.
You're back on now, so it may have to refresh. But if you went to another tab, yeah, if you went to another tab, it will tell me so that I know that someone has left.
There is a significant lag, though, between the moment the student leaves the Nearpod presentation and when this indicator lights up red. It's about 2 to 3 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So
Oh, that's kind of lame.
It is.
Yeah.
It
As
is.
long as they only go away for 2 minutes or less.
Well, no,
they won't
even
be
if they
caught.
go away,
yeah, even if they
it'll
go away,
show up. So you can just remind the student, I need you to stay on task.
it'll
So
turn
now
red,
Yvonne
even though
Davis.
she, like it turned red even though she came back.
See, your name popped up. I don't know if you went somewhere else
No,
or.
I really haven't.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it just is mad at you. So it's picking on you.
It's picking on you.
It's picking on
Nearpod's a
you.
bully.
The other thing I want you to see is that, so here are my slides. And you guys will have this on any device. I know it's hard to see them. So at the bottom,
Oh, okay.
and it's hard to see
I can
because it
tell.
cuts it
Yeah, I
off.
see what you're saying.
So I click on that, and now I could go through my slides and say, you know what, these few slides aren't appropriate for my case. So I'm only going to teach the ones that I know will be appropriate, because maybe it's asking for writing. My kinders aren't ready for that, maybe at the end of the year. So I could skip any slides that I want, and then when I was ready, I could say, okay, you know what, my kids can do this one, so I'm going to push it out to them. And what this is asking you now is, now imagine the inside of your field trip location. So this is talking about going somewhere because it's going to lead to, when we take our kids online, they should follow the same safety tips online that they would going anywhere on a field trip, right? So go ahead and draw for me. It can be anything. Just imagine we're on a field trip. Maybe we're at the zoo. What would you expect to see when you go to the zoo? And go ahead and draw something for me. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I won't grade you on your artistic ability. I'm drawing too.
I need more color choice.
So I use one finger to hold it down and the other finger to draw the shape. And that really helps on the Chromebook. Okay, and when you're done, click that send button, and you'll send it to the teacher. And you can see, so I have Leticia sent hers, I sent mine, Christine, Durf. Oh, that's cute. You did a good job. Oh, you have a touch screen. Yeah. So I'm waiting for everyone to submit theirs. So I need Carmela, Brooke, and Veronica to submit theirs. Now, what's great about this is, so this is the teacher view, but let's say I want to have a discussion about a student's piece of work. What I could do is I could say, okay, we're going to talk about this one, and I want to share it with everyone.
The kids thought that was the cool.
Isn't it?
They're like, so every time we would go to the new question or anything, they're like, are you going to share anyways? And I'm like, okay, we'll share.
They really like that. And what's nice is there's no names. So I'm not putting him on blast for what he's done, but we can talk about his work and have a discussion around what somebody else thought in class.
You can see his name now.
I can
I
see
can't see
his
it. I
name.
see. Okay, I'm looking and
Yes,
We're students.
exactly.
I'm forgetting.
So
what
now I'm
looking
going to
at.
unshare, and then I could say, I think when I share, you can actually, as a teacher, you could just scroll
You can
through.
keep- Yeah. You can
Yeah.
keep sharing it.
Which is fun, right? So now you guys, I can share other people's
The
answers. or
teacher
cards.
shares, not the student.
Correct. Correct. Okay, and then I could take you to your next activity. So it says, think about other field trips you have taken with your class. What do you need to do to stay safe when you visit new places? Now, this would be hard in a kinder class because now we're talking about typing. You might just do this as a discussion, or you could skip it altogether. But go ahead and type your answers so I can show you what it looks like on the teacher side. Wear a life vest. Yes. And then it tells you participation, how many people, so the teacher can just wait until that gets to 100% so we know. And I'm not going to participate, so we probably won't get to 100.
Hold hands.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Well, I've done this, but I displayed the screen up there, and then the answers do show up. So do you suggest not displaying it and just have them read along on their screen? Because sometimes there's a video, and then so I play it, but then the answer, so.
Yes. So there's a couple ways that you could do this. So I would never project the teacher view
Okay.
because then they're going to see
Right.
personal information that, you don't want them to judge each other. What you could do is what we did. So I logged into my Chromebook
Okay.
as a student, and then you could project that so they can see it.
Okay.
Also, when it comes to the videos, the Kinder one has a video. Oops, wrong thing to go up. So there's a video where it says we're going to talk about Jeremiah, who talks about people in his neighborhood. We have taken Durfee, because he's wonderful, has taken the videos into Edpuzzle and added questions to them. So what's happened is, when we get to Haiku, I'll show you. But Edpuzzle is an app or a website where you can import a video, a YouTube video, any video, and they have to watch the whole thing. They can't fast forward, and they have to stop and answer questions throughout the video. So there's accountability pieces. And for the Kinder videos, he added audio, so it reads the question, and then they can pick their answer after they listen to the question.
And they can't go to a different tab. It
Yeah,
stops the video if they change the tab.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to stay on
It
that
pauses
tab.
it.
yeah. which is really nice. So that's how I suggest we do the video. So if they're in the presentation, I would actually even say skip them, and I'll show you how all of this is on Haiku. We've made it very easy, hopefully, for you guys. That's our goal, so we're trying to do that so that you don't have to do a lot of back and forth or thinking, that it's all kind of laid out for you and your students.
Now, if you do these lessons for the higher grades, like tomorrow or sometime next week, I haven't gotten to all the grades. I've only done K1, 2 so far. I'm working on 3, 5. Hopefully I'll be done with that by like tomorrow. And then from there I'll start working on the upper grades.
The nice thing is in secondary, a lot of kids have headphones, so if they have to watch the video on their own, sometimes you're better equipped to do that in a secondary class, not all of the time, but we're trying really hard to get everything done so that you guys have access
But couldn't
to
you
it.
watch the video as a class without the headphones and just have it over a speaker?
You could project it. The problem is that when I go to the next slide, watch what happens. Oh, oops, just
That's
kidding.
fine.
I skipped it. It automatically starts playing it for all of you. So I would have to then exit out of Nearpod in order to project it, because see the lag?
Oh, the lag, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But what you can do is,
That's
if you
another-
have the setup we have where a student device is hooked up to your projector, you have a pretend student essentially, you can tell everyone, all right, I need everyone to mute their speakers for now. We're going to listen to the video through here.
Okay.
And they would know, like, I mean, you could tell them the lag will make this sound very strange and we'll get a weird echo effect. So everyone press mute. We're going to listen to it from this one device. You could watch it on your screen because it's not that far off, or you could watch it up here.
But you can still, like, because my students, they each have their own device.
Yeah,
That's
so they
part
can
of
just do
their
it.
sessions.
Yeah.
So they could just
Yeah.
listen. Okay.
Yep. And as soon as you went to that screen, it would autoplay for them. The only thing is you don't have, it's not the Edpuzzle version where there are questions
Right.
and
Well, I
stuff.
can always, because I use EduChat. So it's the same.
Okay, perfect. This next one is a writing one. I want to show you guys, I don't know if they have a, oh, you can also embed websites. Those were, I'm sorry, I'm skipping through things because I want to not waste your time. We only have about 20 minutes left. These are like note cards. So you guys can click on yours 1 and 2. So it says website, and then it will give you the definition of what a website is. So those are like study cards, which are kind of nice. And if you embed these in your Haiku site, they can go back and review these for something after you teach it, or if you have a kid that's absent. What this one is the embedded website. So what's nice about this is I've chosen a website to share with you. It opens it up, and you can only navigate within that website. So it keeps them in there. And so this is, you walk your students through, okay, we're at this website, where do we go, what do we look for, how do we explore? So it's like teaching navigation. And this is why I'm saying I wouldn't do this whole lesson at one time. There's a lot of, and you wouldn't necessarily do the whole thing at a kinder level, because this is a kinder lesson. At the end of every lesson, there is a quiz. So go ahead and take that quiz for me, please. And then I want to show you what the students see when you do a quiz.
This is for kinder.
Yeah, that's why we said some
You
of the
would read
materials-
them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
This would be like a class.
If I
discussion
were a
for them.
kinder teacher, I would actually project a student's screen and we would answer them together.
I could
Full
argue
class.
No, you got it 50%. I would argue number 1 is a horribly written
Yeah,
essay.
I agree.
Wait, how did I get 1 out of 2?
Number 1, they're
Well,
saying
Because they're
both.
asking online, but the
Yeah.
answer's both.
Yeah.
No, it said online.
I mean,
I know.
Brooke, Harmony, and
Obviously,
Jasmine.
we all
I'm
agree.
sorry.
It's a bad
Smart.
question.
Because I even stopped and thought, no,
You're-
it says online.
You're
I
right.
love how upset you are about this.
Because I used my critical thinking.
So did I. So did I.
I was like, wait a minute, know the question down.
I'm
I
sorry.
I don't know why it was that.
No,
was robbed.
I know the lady who
I
did
love
this
how it's the
curriculum,
three of
so I'm
us.
gonna let her know that's wrong. I'm like, if you're
It's so
asking
big.
online, it should just be going places safely, and then it would be
Yes,
both.
take off the online.
Hey,
Yeah,
you got backups right here.
we're good. So,
Wrong.
as a teacher, well, I'm glad some of you got it wrong, because now we can look at our little pie chart. So, as a teacher, what I can do is I can share with you how the whole class did.
You scored.
But it's not
I
by
need an
name. And then if you scroll down, you'll
Oh, I
see
like that.
my answers, so you can see how you did and what you got wrong and what the
How
right
can you
answer
stay
was.
safe when you are online?
Just your answer, yeah.
Have an adult
We don't
with you
get
when
the-
you go places in the real world.
You should have gotten, I can't switch between screens, but the top one should be you scored.
And then your
And
answers.
then our
And then your
Yeah.
answer.
Oh, so it's not the class.
It's not the class, it's
It's
just
not the
me.
class, it's
Yeah.
just you.
I'm
With
telling
your
you, that
50%.
question is wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to.
I'm so sorry. Okay, here's the other thing that I want to touch on. When you're in the middle of a Nearpod lesson, if you click that little down arrow, I can actually import an impromptu activity. So even if it's not a part of my Nearpod lesson, I can input a slide, I can ask you to do a draw it, I can do an open-ended question, send you to a website, or do a true-false. So these are impromptu things that even though it's not in here, I may feel like we really need to do this activity to reinforce it.
That's what she was saying about modifying it. That's kind of like a modifier.
But
You
it
just can't
doesn't
save
save it.
Yeah.
So it does it for this lesson,
Yeah.
but when I was going to go reteach it, it wouldn't,
It wouldn't be there.
it wouldn't be there. But that's a nice way to be like, oh, okay, we obviously didn't get this. Let's do something else to help reinforce
Well, and
that
that's also a
activity.
good way to differentiate. I mean,
Yes.
for me, different periods need
Different things.
different things.
Yes, I agree. So when you're done, this is another circle the place you would like to visit. This is very kinder appropriate. So they just choose a place that they would like to visit and they share that. And actually from this activity you could do a virtual field trip from one of the other activities.
Someone doesn't know a circle.
It's really hard to do on, yeah, don't judge people.
Well, I feel badly that I got the test wrong.
And then, so you're trying to put down other people. That's
Yeah.
not nice.
Trying to bring her down.
So when you're done,
Don't forget the notes. The students can take notes.
oh yes, throughout the activity, this is a secondary thing. They can take notes on the activity and have notes emailed to them. So if they have things that they want, so can you project my screen, John?
Mhm.
Sorry. So yeah, it's in any of them. I just wouldn't do it with like kinder. That's kind of silly, right? Because they don't type yet.
Notes might not make sense.
Yeah. They'll be like, gibberish, right? I'll just type away. Sorry. There we go.
I'll
So,
be typing their password.
exactly.
They're so
So
busy
on your
practicing.
screen, you guys should have this, right? So if you click on that, you should be able to, is it where I do menu? No, Durfee, where are the notes?
Just has my name in the next.
Yeah, it has
It
my
might be
name.
that you're at the end of this
Maybe we
presentation.
should
Go back to the
fix
slide
this.
that has something, like content.
Yeah. Sorry, switching your pages.
Just anything. It doesn't have, there you go.
There we go.
Oh, there's menu. No, it's still not.
No, it's still nothing.
Hmm.
Maybe you have to embed it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or enable it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. You should be able to take notes, but maybe just not on this one. Okay. So we're going to get out of that. I know that I went over it and you didn't get a chance to try it, but we can go in and try it. But what I want to do is take you to Haiku, actually, show you what your students are going to see, how we embedded this on Haiku. And I'm going to show you, actually, I'm not going to leave this session, actually. So let's go, if you go to the top again to your bookmarks, you can click there and just go over to Haiku. And go ahead and sign in. Now we pushed out to you, you will have middle school and high school because you're at Blair and I can't separate them. But you guys in elementary will have K5, no matter what grade level you teach, because there's no way for me to differentiate between the K2, 3, 5 teachers in Haiku.
Actually have two tabs, digital K through 3.
And then digital 3 through 5, yeah. You don't need the 3 through 5, but I couldn't, yeah. So in your portal, in my classes, you guys will have digital citizenship curriculum based on your grade level. Your students will also have this. They're going to see the same thing that you see. So let's go ahead and click on K2. Well, you click on whatever yours is. I'm going to click on. Yeah. You don't have any of them? Okay.
So now our students are enrolled in this as well.
Yes. Okay. You're enrolled and they're enrolled. You still have a student role, but it doesn't really matter because you're not adding content to this. So on this first page, see how I've embedded? They can do a session. So if I put in that session ID that we were just in, they can do the session right here. You don't have to take them out of Haiku. So they can actually do it right within here. And the reason I did that, or they can click on this Welcome to Nearpod and it will take them to Nearpod. It's however you decide you want to do it, but I wanted to make it easy for you where you only had to go send them to one place, if that's what's easy. So here's the other thing that we did. I'm actually going to view as students so that I can get rid of this other junk. Because you guys don't see it, it might be hard to... Okay, so all of this stuff that we have on the left here, the first page you're taken to is the Nearpod login. We're going to go down to the bottom and go to Teacher Resources. And what we've given you in Teacher Resources, here's the scope and sequence. So here are all the lessons based on content, based on the units, based on grade level. So it gives you an idea of what are you covering, what are you teaching your kids. The next thing that we gave you is an overview. So this is what, so we are at Teacher Resources. Yeah, I'm scrolling, sorry. It will break it down, so it will tell you cross-curricular framework, what the different topics cover, so just to give you a breakdown. Then it will, by grade level, go over what are these lessons covering. What is the content, what should the students be getting out of it, and it gives you these little icons. So it goes through each grade level. This is just reference for you. You don't have to read it, but it could be helpful if you have questions about what's going on. The next tab under Teacher Resources is Teaching Tips. So this was provided by Common Sense Media, who created the curriculum that Nearpod used for the lessons. These are tips that they're giving teachers on how to teach the curriculum successfully. So again, if you're having a hard time deciding how you would use this in your classroom, what it would look like in your classroom, it says, how do I prepare for the lessons? You don't have to use the handouts in the lessons. We'd kind of like for you to use it all digitally if possible. I don't want you really printing anything. Here's the key information, the discussions. Gives you different icons of what you'll see and what your students will be doing based on the activity in the lessons. The Common Sense updates and news, I'm just going to kind of breeze over that. That's just a feed to tell you about what's in the news, what are kids using, what are they accessing. It'll give you articles like what is Snapchat and what are kids using it for, like different things that are coming out that your kids might be talking about that maybe you have no clue about. So it kind of keeps you up to date, and this updates itself on things that are going on from Common Sense Media. So here is where we get into lessons. So if I'm a kindergarten teacher, or whatever grade level you're at, you should see the grade level lessons that belong to you, and you can click on that. And what we've done is we've embedded the lesson plans that go along with the Nearpod lessons. So if you kind of want to be able to envision how the lesson is laid out, these lesson plans are here. There are actually handouts, and you can make these larger. They're just embedded at this size. You can also save them and print them. And for the younger grades, there are worksheets that they could do that could go along with the Nearpod lessons. So if you feel like that's something, because you can't use all the slides, that these handouts might be easier, and they give you an answer key. So the second page is an answer key, the first page is the student handout. Okay. For K through 5th, you have the expert zone activities, so 6 through 12 won't see those. Those are extension activities. There are things like crossword puzzles, word searches, and different activities you can do to reinforce the vocabulary.
How can you see this larger?
Control plus. Oh, that larger? What you would do is you could say view and pop out, or you could just download it or print it, save it or print it. And you can zoom in on it.
I don't see the download part. Maybe I'm missing something.
So when you hover over the top, see the save button? It looks like a little disc.
I'm hovering.
Durfee's going to come help you. You don't get it
I
either?
actually don't get it. Oh, 'cause
Oh, at
I'm
the
a student.
bottom. Look at the bottom
Very bottom.
of the document, of the embed.
Do you get it at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, it's at the
You
bottom.
have to scroll all the way down. Kristen.
Sorry. It's a different view because I'm in as a teacher. Sorry. So it'll be here at the bottom.
Okay,
Okay, perfect.
thank you.
So the expert zone activities again are K through 5th, and their activities you would actually print because they're not online things that they could do. So it's optional. It's just there because it's a part of the curriculum. The last thing is the alternative assessment. So there are assessments in Nearpod, but if you wanted them to, Common Sense Media has created assessments that they can test just to test their skills. So they would pick the unit based on their grade level, and then it would ask them for their name and the teacher email if you want the results, and that's all optional. Yeah. And then it would walk them through an assessment and ask them to do things. So this is like you would drag things. It has you drag and drop things wherever they go. And then
this
you would
be
submit.
Like a pre-assessment maybe for you to know where they are?
You could do that.
or-
This is completely optional because there is an assessment in Nearpod, and that's the data that we're looking at. But some teachers like this format better, so you could have them completed. It could be a pre or post.
That little quiz that we took is the data you're talking about?
Yes, but that was for kinder.
No, I know. But I failed the kinder one.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that's what the,
It's embedded.
yeah, okay.
Yep, it's embedded in the assessment. So now what we're going to do is actually scroll up. So what we're going to do is scroll up, and everyone has something different here. K through 5 has digital passport. 6 through 8 will have compass, and then digital bytes is what 9-12 will have. So when you click on that, it will give you an introductory video of what the games or activities are. So that's the first page. And then see how I got this now? Yours will say like play now, I think, and that's where they'll click for the game. For K5, they can just click on these names, and then it will take them to the game right here in Haiku. So they can play a game that reinforces the digital citizenship skills. Nope. They're all right here. So it plays the video automatically, and I'm going to skip it. So it goes over, it talks about whatever skill they're doing.
Are we teacher resources?
And then here, so it will tell you, keep the things from falling, and then they have to help answer the question or whatever it is.
Sorry, where should this fall in? After the unit, before the unit?
Probably after. I think that it would be good, like we're going to teach lessons with Jess for K first, and I would do like a video activity, and then I would do a game, kind of switching it up, and I wouldn't do the whole lesson at once, but letting them, you know, this is a skill we're learning now, you guys can play this game. And something that they could go back to at another time to kind of practice that skill and reinforce the lessons being learned in digital citizenship. So we're running out of time. The last thing that I want to go over with you guys, we have posters. So Common Sense Media has created posters that are fun for younger and older kids. They just reinforce what it means to be a digital citizen. Mine's slowly loading.
Online posters?
Yes, they're online posters. Look.
That's an interesting.
For print.
I was gonna say last year, I made a bulletin board for the school.
Uh-huh.
And then I had my students, so we printed some of these, and then I had my students make charts, like infographics,
Uh-huh.
of the information that they learned.
Oh, that's
So
good.
along with that, so that way it was from them.
Yes.
Say that again.
So there was an extra bulletin
Yeah.
board in our school that I pulled up with digital citizenship stuff, but I printed some of those posters, and then I had my students make infographics about digital citizenship themselves, and then I put those up along with those posters, so that way.
That's a great project. Yeah.
And we did it towards the end of the year. So we count. What do you guys-
Infographics?
I didn't know what infographics were.
Oh,
Sorry.
so that's an infographic.
Because
Like
it's
creating a graphic
that gives
has
you information.
Yeah, like the new.
It is. Yes, it
I
is.
can show.
Citizens on there.
I'm gonna be 50, I don't know.
So this is the very last thing. So we haven't gotten to the upper grades, but I want to take you to the kinder videos. So we've broken up the videos by unit so that you know when to teach them. So I would go to kinder, you go to whatever grade you're at, and then it will tell you what unit each video goes with. So this Going Places Safely video goes with Unit 1, Lesson 1. Bless you. And the kids will go, they'll say log in with Google because it actually tracks them completing the video. So they'll just log in and they're already signed in, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And then see, it will display their name at the top. See these? This is where it stops them and asks them questions. So I can press play, and I don't think the sound's working because it's going through the projector.
HDMI.
Yeah, hold on, let me.
But don't be ready to practice.
Goes. Now turn it up.
Jeremiah.
So yeah, let me go back.
Oh, sure.
That is. You want to do? All
My
right.
name is Jeremiah. Hi, and I am 7 years old.
How old is Jeremiah?
Kinders can't read, so we said the question, and then they click on the number, and then they press
I love
continue.
playing on my mom's computer, but I always get permission
Where they're reading,
first.
they won't.
Mom,
And
can I go on
the
the
questions
computer?
vary. Most of the questions have
I love
some
my
sort
mom's
of a
computer
picture that they would
because
click
I can go on the internet.
occasionally how to use numbers. And if it's a yes/no question, you get thumbs up, thumbs
The
down.
internet is
So
kind
they
of
can
like your
click
neighbor.
on those.
And they can't
It's just a
fast
friendly
forward,
Cool places.
so they can't progress.
What's happening?
You can talk to family and friends.
You know what? These are the best
And you can
digital
do lots of
citizenship videos that we
Long
have
and
found.
hard.
We have,
Like yesterday,
Yes.
I visited
So
a
these are a
village
blessing.
that's near my house. I saw a baby zebra. I took her
it's
picture
not,
and
it's,
changed
it's
the color of
the
her
same
stripes.
curriculum, and they show this
Then
video in
added
the
a
Nearpod
hat
lesson,
and added it to
but
my
you can't
collection
engage
of
them
wacky
in it,
animals. Awesome!
and there's no accountability.
Then
You
later,
added the accountability through the Haiku.
What
Through
animal did Jeremiah see
Ed
at the
Puzzle.
zoo?
Okay, and then they would click which animal he saw at the zoo. So harder, this is kinder, but this is what we want to do with the videos so that there's an accountability piece.
I thought he saw something else. Yeah.
I know, he saw a pink zebra. All right, so you have Nearpod. That's where you guys will access the curriculum to get the codes, and you have access to all of the accounts or all of the curriculum. And then Haiku, your students can go through Haiku, and that's where the games are embedded, the videos are embedded, the posters are embedded. So we kind of made it your one-stop shop. The other thing that we are offering is that if this is hard for you to envision how this would look in your classroom, if you want to book us to come do the first lesson with you guys and model that and roll it out with you and your students, you can book us, and then we will come and do the lesson with you and your kids. And that way you have a starting point of, oh, okay, now I get what this looks like and how it would be run. Okay? Yes?
So you're asking us just to do one grade level, 1 minute, or what is the commitment?
I would like for you to do the 4 lessons.
In the unit?
Yes. So we have a 60-day pilot. So I would like to utilize those 60 days to do those lessons as often as possible. I'm also going to send out an email to your principals letting you know you're piloting this program, and if you could have the Chromebooks for 2 days a week where you could commit to doing these lessons until Christmas vacation, then that would be fabulous and ideal, because 2 days a week you could at least get half a lesson in, half a lesson in. If you can't do a full lesson in one sitting. That's not tied up in what you're already doing with Chromebooks. I know that's not a problem at Marshall. Yeah, but at other schools there's a high demand for them, so I need to make sure that you guys have access. You're doing iPads, so you're different, but everyone else has Chromebooks. Okay, any other questions?
I do.
Yes.
I am familiar with Haiku, but my students don't have a Haiku account, and I'm not familiar with that.
They all do.
I mean, yes, but that.
Your kids are going to go through Nearpod. We can just do the videos a different way. We'll send them there through the web link, and we can send them to the games through the web link. So we'll do a little bit different because your kids have iPads.
Okay.
So we'll do all Nearpod because the Nearpod's an app that they'll put on their iPad. We'll be good. But we're going to set up, didn't we already set up a time to come do your lesson or not yet? Okay, we can set that up today before you go if you want.
And second, is this how the STEM scope works too?
No, I wish.
No, okay.
Can I test it out with English before I start the digital thing, just because I might be more comfortable with the English?
Totally.
Yep.
You want to use a Nearpod lesson in your English class?
Like a non-digital citizenship lesson?
Just so
and then
I
just
start to feel
comfortable?
comfortable with it, because I know English more
You
than I
have
know digital
free
citizenship.
range over all the content there. Pull down
Okay,
what you
yeah,
want.
I'm just saying that you're
Or
not
if
going to
you
be
have-
unhappy with that.
No, or if you have a lesson that you've already created, you can actually create your own Nearpod lessons. They're actually really easy to create. You could take a PowerPoint presentation or a Google slide presentation that you already have, drop it in there, it'll create the slides, and then you could add the interactive activities in between the slides. So, I mean, you have free reign to
Does
do
that
it.
become public or?
It's private.
It's private.
Unless you say make this available for everyone or make it public, it's private by default.
And does someone review the ones that are made public?
No idea.
There were some misspells on a couple that I found.
What I'm saying is there's some
That's
kind of,
weird.
I mean, if I go,
Well,
do I have some,
I would suggest previewing everything
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Just-
We're doing this lesson today, guys.
yeah, Whoops, not this one. Just
No.
kidding.
I
No.
obviously understand that, but,
Yeah,
I mean, do they approve them? Do they?
I don't know. I've never tried to.
There's a lot of them that come from a curriculum committee who creates them. And then there are some that are just teachers have made them and they're being kind and sharing them. Usually the ones that are teacher shared, though, you can duplicate and edit.
Yeah, you could
The
duplicate
ones
edit.
that companies make, I'm finding you can't duplicate them. But those are usually paid. We just don't know that because we're getting them all for free right now.
Or you've got some teachers who have made some really amazing ones, and they're in a bundle, and they actually are selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if
So-
you can make some good ones, Christine.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'm going to wrap up the Hangout and go ahead and hang up. So if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and email myself or Durfee. And thank you for watching.